Hello and good evening. Welcome back to the AP Stats Period 1 update for you. Tonight we have a very interesting segment going on. My name is Ian Brown.
My name is Santiago Balestreri.
And we're going to be going over Type 1 and Type 2 errors in the criminal justice system. So, Robert Blake was accused of killing his wife, Bonnie Backley, on May the 4th, 2001, in the back of his car.
May the 4th? Is that not the Star Wars Day?
That is very true, Santi. May the 4th is largely known as National Star Wars Day in America because we like to use the saying, May the Force be with you in Star Wars, and it's usually May the 4th be with you in our school. We've seen that for the past few years.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I think it's safe to say, though, Santi, the 4th was not with her on that day.
You can say that again.
It was not with her.
Tragic.
So,
Right,
Miss Backley is sadly no longer with us today, and we're going to go over the case of her murder. So, to get us started here, Robert Blake and her were having dinner on the night of May the 4th, 2001.
Sorry to cut you off. Do you think they were celebrating?
I honestly don't know, Santi.
I mean, I was celebrating on May the 4th.
Yeah, of course. Me as well.
I feel like we all do that,
Yeah, of course. So, this night, Robert Blake told the police officers that arrived on the scene shortly after she was shot.
Yeah.
He told these police officers, hey, I went back inside to the restaurant to go retrieve a gun that I left in there. And when I came out, my wife was shot.
See, that doesn't really...
Santi, I don't think I've ever heard a worse excuse than that in my life.
Bad excuse for committing murder.
And students, I'm sure we've all heard many excuses throughout our lives. That's a pretty bad one.
That's like when I told my mom when I snuck out that I went to walk my dog.
Indeed,
and then I came back.
It was not like a
really bad excuse.
Not the best at all.
No, that wasn't good.
Mr. Blake here was having a huge charge of murder against him.
Yeah.
There was a good amount of circumstantial evidence, like there was hardcore forensic proof that kind of placed him around that scene during when the time was being committed, and the murder weapon was literally tied directly to Robert Blake, which would seem almost obvious that he's the one who did it. He's the one who did it. Now, sadly, a Type 2 error occurs because the guilty person goes free. And when this guilty person went free, it was mainly due to the mishandling of the police throughout this investigation. There were some bad handling of witness statements that weren't great. So the police didn't do an amazing job on capturing all the evidence that we had in this case.
I hate that.
Altogether, there was a pretty good defense attorney that was defending him. Sadly, people who are more wealthy, they get the better attorneys. And Mr. Blake did have a defense that made the jury say, hey, there's this reasonable doubt that, hey, we can't physically we can't place him as the murderer, and that is sadly what makes up a Type 2 error case. And in Mr. Robert Blake's case, where he's almost like 100% the murderer, we all know it.
Yeah.
You know it's Santi, I know it. I mean...
I feel like everyone the viewers know it as well.
Of course. Yeah. We all know that Robert Blake was the guilty party in this murder. And it is extremely sad that we are no longer with the life of Bonnie Backley today just because of this guy who killed her.
She couldn't receive justice either.
Indeed. Now,
it's insanity.
It is truly very, very sad. And these unreliable witnesses, the unreliable witnesses in the case is also what led to him being acquitted.
Yeah.
Now, there was some restitution made to Miss Backley's family. While Mr. Blake was not convicted in a criminal court, he was later found guilty by a civil jury court, which was allowed to make him pay $15 million in reparations to Miss Baffley's family. So they are $15 million richer because of their daughter's death. But
like, is that,
is that worth it?
I don't think it's worth it. Like,
I know.
$15 million compared to a life. A life is priceless. You know what I mean?
I know. I would for sure rather have a life with him.
No, I'd be.
Sadly, that is what makes up this false negative type 2 error case.
It's insanity.
And that is the case of Robert Blake.
Now to transition to a type 1 error case, we're going to speak about the case of Canino and Cotton. Have you ever heard of this case?
I don't think I have. Tell me about it.
I'll inform you about it. So, in this case, Canino and another woman were sexually assaulted, and during the investigation, they found a piece of rubber and blood that didn't belong to the victim, right?
Okay.
And as well as that, when they created a lineup of people in order to see who might fit the description that Canino was describing, they one of those people were Ronald Cotton.
Okay.
And
Mr. Cotton.
Yeah, Mr. Cotton. And she ended up identifying him as the person that attacked her. But this is where the twist comes in.
Where is
this twist, Mr. Cotton was actually not the person that convicted. That did it. He wasn't the perpetrator.
So that's what makes it like a type 1, right?
Yeah,
okay.
because he was innocent.
Gotcha.
And we know this because later on, new evidence was found that was DNA. That same blood correlated to someone called Bobby Pohl.
Okay.
And it took him 10 years for them to get justice for this man, because what happened was this evidence, it was going to be brought up in a trial that Mr. Cotton had, but it was later, it was denied permission to be in the case.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Denied approval.
Yeah, denied approval.
Gotcha.
Because they said it just wasn't relevant, which I think is insane. I think that's the first mistake they made, right?
Yeah.
And then later,
100%.
10 years after, he was in jail for 10 years. They then used that evidence. They brought back the case.
That's a decade of a man's life.
That's a decade. Imagine 10 years. It's insane. Do you imagine 10 years being in jail for something you didn't do? But that's what happens when it's type 1 error. And then they matched the DNA with Mr. Pohl, and they also found out that Mr. Pohl was spoke to some of his inmates, because Mr. Pohl is someone that's already been convicted of this type of stuff.
Gotcha.
You know the man he was. And then Mr. Pohl told some of his inmates that he had done it, and so Pohl was then taken 70 years extra to his life sentence that he already had.
Gotcha.
But luckily, we got justice for the man. Mr. Cotton was released. And in these type of things, mistakes can happen. And the mistakes that happened here is that they didn't use DNA testing. They should have tested them.
Yeah, sure.
Mr. Cotton should have been tested.
Gotcha. 100%.
And it could have been totally
I
avoided.
couldn't agree more.
And also, they could have used Pohl as another suspect, but they didn't. They decided not to.
Gotcha.
And they ignored that important evidence that was there. But luckily, restitution was made, and Mr. Cotton was given $100,000 and given freedom from jail.
Wow.
But, I think, is $100,000 really worth it to give away 10 years of your life?
I really don't think so. I think I would do it for $1 million.
I mean, $1 million is $1 million.
Not 100.
But 100,000, you know what I mean? 100,000. I'll make that in a year.
$1 million. I could buy 2 Lamborghinis for my favorite teacher, Miss McGulick, for AP Stats.
Dude, I could buy Miss McGulick about 100,000 candies with $1 million.
We could get her a brand new Lego to build, and I think $1 million is what we would try to settle for in court, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I would
100%.
I would settle for that.
100%.
But $100,000 for 10 years?
I know.
Are you kidding me? That's so not worth it.
Awesome. Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
that's what happens with these errors. And I mean, after that, he wrote some books with the lady, and they ultimately became friends with the victim.
Yeah.
But it's still 10 years of the man's life.
Yeah.
But that's it for news today.
Yeah.
This was Ian Brown and Salty.
Thank you for joining us. And hope we have a blessed week. And
have a good week.
Awesome.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Bye.
And now it's in transition to a type 1 error case. Oh my gosh, come on.
Alrighty, so I'm gonna be. Look at you. You're looking up.
3, 2, 1. Alrighty, welcome back to the. Wait.
His car after a dinner date outside the. Stop.
Sorry, I can't take it serious. I can't take it serious. It's really hard.